And here we go. Hey, how's everyone doing? My name is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is Monday Afternoon Live. We try and get together every Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and draw a sort of landscape. That could also be a seascape. And this time we're going to combine the two with it being a swamp. How about that, huh? We got a great little crowd going here, and I always love to see everyone showing up. So welcome. I'll call you all by name so you feel, well, not that so that you know that you're important. We got Lynn and Jane, Cindy, Betsy, Nanette. Let's see, Sarone. We have Jan, I said, and Elaine. So welcome everyone. And if you're watching this a little bit later, thanks for tuning in too. We'll spend the next 40 minutes, 40 to 50 minutes drawing this swamp scene step by step. And if you would just take a minute before we get into this and make sure you like and comment in the video whether you might want to see an urban setting next or a mountain camping scene. We're going camping next. We're going to camping in a couple weeks, so we might have to do that. Or should we go down back to the ocean again? Let me know what you're looking for, and maybe we could draw it, okay? I am live, so the chat is active, so if you have a question, go ahead and jump in there and ask my question. And with that, let's jump right into this picture here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller here. And let's come over here, and in this case, we're going to start it off with a nice frame, a nice square area to work within. Get that nice up here. Now, just so you know, I'm working on an iPad using the program Procreate, and the size of this picture that I'm going to be drawing from is only 3 by 4 inches, so it's small. I draw it so small so that we could get it done in a short amount of time. But if you want, after the video's over, if you want to draw it bigger, by all means, you just may have to pause, and I will try and go slow enough that you could pause and keep a larger picture going. But for us, stick a little bit smaller, and I think you'll find you'll have a lot more success. Okay? Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about, first thing, let's talk about, not proportion, just cannot remember. I'm going to think of it. I don't know why I'm forgetting these simple terms. We're going to talk about, not layout. Why am I thinking layout? I cannot believe this has escaped my mind. What's the word? Can anyone guess what I'm trying to think of right now? I usually will think of thirds when I'm drawing a picture. It's going to come up in just a second. And this is how you want to think of your laying a picture out, right? So in this example, I've just put some hash marks on the, hey Jorah, I just put some hash marks on the picture here. And right now, look at this. The way that the photographer laid this thing out is he kind of put the horizon line dead center. Well, we want to create a little bit more interest. So I don't recommend that you put your horizon lines dead center. I'd say put it at the top third or the lower 2/3. So let's come down here and shift that horizon line to be a little bit more, a little bit lower. Okay, that's where we'll start with. And then, of course, let's start to think of, look at this here. If this is a halfway point on this photograph, that shack or that little cabin is right off to the center. So let's just kind of, I'm going to put a little bit of a line here. This is going to help me to, what's the word? I can't believe no one has put that in yet. It's not proportion. Why y'all put up with me sometimes, I do not know, but I do the best I can, right? Maybe the older I get, the more I'm going to forget. So I'm going to really need everyone here to help me out. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, look at the this is proportion. Look at the proportion of that house there. So let's come in here and just make a small square. I'm just gonna do something like this, and it's, look at that. That's about as big as I want it in our picture here. Nice thing is we're looking straight at the house, so there's a little perspective per se. There's going to be a little perspective in that pier, but outside of that, we can keep it quite simple. Okay, let's come in here now, and it has that great opening. Now check this out. Now, what's interesting about this doorway, composition. Thank you, Cindy. That's it. Oh, Cindy, thank you so much. Composition. That's key. Why did I forget that? I knew it was close. Cindy, thank you. You are a rock star. Okay, look at this. So I have this little doorway I've put in, but look at the picture. That little back window is off to the left a little bit. Let's make sure we honor that. So I'm going to come in here and darken this doorway just like this. And I'm going to leave that window off to the left. You see that? And then I'm just going to put maybe a single bar there. Something like that. Composition. Thank you so much. All right, let's come in here, and I'm going to drop in these kind of rails. They're kind of like rails, right? See, a lot of this right now is we're just kind of dealing with pattern. I cannot believe I forgot that. Look at this. You've got this. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. You see what I've just done? I've outlined both sides of this post on either side there. We want to keep that white. Cindy, that was a test, and you passed it. That was a test to tell me that you are really doing great. All right, we got another one on either side there. This little hut is so important because it's really going to sell the idea here. So let's detail this thing out just a little bit. All right. Okay, so then we're going to have a little, you see that little roof right there? And then we're going to kind of doing these little scallops. So I'm just breaking this little, you have this little roof going across here, and I'm not just doing it with a single line. I'm just making these little hatch marks. You see that? And then I'll slow down here. And then we've got some grass. So let's just come in here and draw some light vertical lines. You see that? And I'm going to draw another layer of vertical lines on top of it. And then one more layer. right? Look at that. Let's look at the shading here now. So let's add a little bit of tone, right? Look at that. Look at that tone I'm just adding right there. And then come back and look at this. Then we want to go a little bit darker here, right on the house. Because this is going to tell us the shadow, like this underneath is in shadow. You see that? Okay, let's go ahead and just kind of put a log. And I'm going to bring down my door just a little bit further here. Just like that. In those vertical posts, I made sure that they're white. This is, they're kind of catching the sun, the light coming in. And what's nice is it creates some nice contrast. Okay, so we could see that there's a dock going from the opening, and then the dock comes towards us, and it makes a shift to the right. So let's take a look at something here. Let me change this color so we could see it. And there's the corner of the dock. You see that? It's right there. And if we use a vertical alignment, that means that we visually think of a vertical line going from that dot straight up and down, and we can kind of see that corner lines up just with the outside of that house. So let's come over here, and I'm gonna, on my paper, I'm just gonna kind of come down right about there. Okay, I'm gonna make this front board of the dock just like that. And then I can see that there's kind of a log. You see that log? And this kind of is going to continue right off the page there. And you could add another log right here to kind of represent the corner, yeah, see? Okay, let's establish the width. Look at this here. Right, you see that dot right there? Where is that dot? This little log is a little bit closer to this one over here. So let's see. If I go half and over just a bit, it's going to be right about there, I think. Hey, Christina, what is up? Okay, look, there's that corner. You see the little corner there in the picture, and there's the other corner. That's where this kind of dock lines up, but it's not, it's like, it's made with boards, and this kind of gives a lot of character to it. So what I'm going to have you do, and draw this super light. Just come in here with a vertical line like this. This is going to help you with your perspective a little bit. keep it light now. And then, because this is going to guide us. And we're not going to follow, we're going to sort of follow that, but it kind of gives us some constraints, okay? Okay, now look at this one now. Look at there, we've got this, you see that? And there's one right across from it. Let's kind of put those in too. And let's look, where does this kind of lines up. You see this on the inside of the door there. So let's see, if the door is right there, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna do that lightly still, all right? And then there's another one like straight across. Be right about there. Okay, it looks like I could see another one right there. All right, so let's put a little mark there for that one. Right about there. And I don't see one on this side that corresponds to that, because it looks like the dock gets a little crooked. You see that? It kind of goes up on one side there. All right, so let's put our dock in here. So first thing I'm going to do is sharpen that pylon, sharpen this one as well, and then I'm going to make that plank a little crooked. You see that? And I don't want these to line up exactly with those guides. I want to kind of keep them kind of wavy, so they're not perfect. Our sky has had a fit. Oh, you mean rain? You've got a lot of rain, huh? We were supposed to get hit all day, but we've only had a sprinkling here in Pennsylvania. All right, let's drop. I'm going to drop a dark value under here. And then I'm going to just kind of add a little bit of a dark value over here. Poured. Wow, Jen, you guys got poured on. Yeah, earlier, today's Monday. Yeah, last week I suggested, I thought this weekend was going to be super hot. So I told my wife, I go, hey, let's go down and get some friends and family together and go tubing down one of the local rivers. But we called that off thinking we were going to get pounded with rain. But now we could have. So ain't that just seems to happen all the time, right? We could you could add a little reflection here, right in the water. And I know the water, it shows it. It does show it. So we're just going to lightly drop in. You know, this reminds me too, if you today, as soon as this is over, we're going to be doing the daily draw. And I've got a scene that we're going to really look at reflections. So I'm going to show you how to do that and look closely at swamp trees. And there's a great stream we're going to draw. So if you're interested, that's called the daily draw. We get together every day for about 40 minutes. We look at something different every day. And the whole point of the daily draw is to get you in the daily habit of drawing. And, you know, for most of us, we want to improve. And that is probably the best way that you could find improvement if you draw a little bit every single day. So that's what you can join us if you're interested. But in the meantime, let's keep going with this. So let's get this first swampy tree here. We're going to kind of come down here. Look at this now. It's going to curve around like this, right? And now this right where it goes in the water, it's going to be very flat like that. And then we're going to get a root system going into the water like that. Look at that. And let's come up here and get the other side of that tree. And I don't know the name of these trees that they have down in the Everglades or in swampy areas, but I sure can recognize them. Let's bring another root in here like this. Okay, let's look at our picture here. Now look at this. We've got kind of a trunk coming in from that corner there. And I see a tree coming back there. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just really looking at the major trunks that I could see showing up in this thing. Of course, there's a big old tree here, and I'm just going to kind of put some roots that are exposed. See that? There's some more trees back here. I'm just kind of putting in the trunks here. Couple things that are floating in the water. Look at that. Just variety of objects. Okay, let's do this. Before we go any further, I want to go to the bottom of this house, and I'm just going to drop in kind of a darker tone. Almost like it's not a solid tone. You can kind of see it. It's just like has an interesting silhouette on the bottom. This will show it. It's like, you know, there's stuff growing up inside there. Just kind of fills it in, because thing is, what I don't want to do is I don't want my eye to go there. And the way that we eliminate that is remember this basic idea is that wherever light is, the lightest value on a page is where your eye is going to go. And then secondly, where the greatest contrast is, your eye is going to go. So right now, in our drawing here, we're really driving the viewer to look into the house at that back window. Okay, that's where it's the darkest, and it's next to the lightest, that little window there. Okay, so let's come into our picture here, and look what I'm doing. I'm just going to add overall tone, top to bottom, a value. except I'm going to leave this value away from this little area over there. Okay, next thing I want to do, and I'm rushing, I'm sorry. So let me just do this one thing and then I'll pause. I'm just kind of putting a value into the water that will represent where that house is. You see that? And like I said, we're going to go over reflections today in the daily draw. So if you want something like extra help, it's one of the things we do. And I will put a link in the comments here as soon as we're done of where you can hit that and join the daily draw. It's only $10 a month, and that covers, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20 different individual drawing lessons. You just can't beat that. Okay, let's put some leaves in here, right? So let's come in here. And I'm kind of looking at the picture here and making it up as I go. Almost like these, I'm just making these half moon shapes like this. And you could even come in here and do this sort of thing. Look at that. Like a silhouette of a leaf. You see that? Starting to come together here with some texture. Okay, let's go back in the background here now and look at these shapes. And I'm just gonna put some, you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of making leaf silhouettes. That's all I'm doing, is I'm just kind of creating these darker areas in the background. I'm not using line, I'm only using tone or value. Okay. Kind of leaving the tree trunks. Like, look at this tree trunk here. I'm kind of leaving white just a little bit. Thinking of shape. At this point of our drawing, we're really only just adding value. I think it's really important to get your values down first, and then you can come back in and start adding detail. So let's do that now. So look at this. I'm just sharpening up the edges of this trunk right there. You see that? Look at this root. I'm adding some surface lines and giving it some curvature. Adding some detail by like maybe some spots or texture. You might even, look at that. Maybe there's some vines hanging down here. Then over here where there's light, I'm just kind of, look, I'm just outlining maybe the strange shape of leaves. I'll give you a second to get caught up. I don't want to go too fast. Sometimes I just get carried away here, right? All right. So if you take a look at our picture here, this is something that's happening in my picture, is the background is about the same texture or value as my house, and I want to separate those. I want to darken the background so my house comes forward. So I want to keep the most of the contrast between darks and lights in my house. So what that means is I've got to make the background less contrasty, okay? So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back into my background here and drop in a darker value. I'm going to leave all that interesting texture and just draw right on top of it. I'm dropping the background. Now, if you're going to do this in color, you know, you would do like a wash, you know, maybe if this was more like a, you know, this is more illustrative. I'm not really, when I draw, I don't like to do things realistic per se. I like them a little bit more stylized. So a lot of times like to think of shape and silhouette. All right, so I'm just kind of coming in here and darkening up some of my leaves. There, that's looking pretty good. Now, if you wanted to take it one more step, and you're going to kill me, but that's okay because that just happens sometimes. But you could, if you could take your eraser, watch this, and just leave like a little bit of a line. You see, kind of this is what we might call rim lighting. And maybe the sun is breaking through the canopy here and hitting the roof. You see that? So it brightens it up just a little bit. All right, then the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in here to this log that's floating in the water, and I'm going to fill it in, but with short strokes. So that your eye will go beyond it. And then, see, it's floating in the water here a little bit. And this might have a reflection in the water as well. I'm going to add some grasses here. And there you go. There is a quick little study of a cabin in a swamp. I had some grasses in the end, add a little texture to it. But yeah, there you go. If you need to, feel free to pause the video if I am like, oh my gosh, Kurt, you went too fast. Well, just slow it down to your speed. And you'll get it. And I'll just add one more thing is there's a great video I have of drawing a temple in the middle of a jungle. And I'm going to put a link for that right here at the end that you could draw that next. It just came in my mind. I will do it. But that's what I got. I do thank you all for watching. My name is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. If you're looking for a great community of people, join our Facebook group. That link is in the description. And then, of course, if you're looking for extra help, join the daily draw. I'll put that link in the comments. All right? Go out there. Have a great day. Make your day great. I will see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.